Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to cover how to increase the average order value using dynamic free shipping bars. We could be talking about a top bar or an on-page unit, and I'll show you what that looks like. But really, so first thing, what's the purpose of using the dynamic free shipping bar? The purpose of it is it's really a great unobtrusive way to encourage customers to spend a little bit more money so that you're upping your average order value. It displays to them the exact dollar amount that's still needed to get that free shipping. So for them, they're going to save on shipping costs, and for you, you're going to obviously increase that average order value. You'll have to figure out what that threshold is, how much needs to be purchased before offering free shipping for your specific site. But once you figure that out, you're good to go. And so what I'm going to do now is just show you an example of a client of ours and how they're using it. So you'll see here they have a top bar, and they also have, this is actually an on-page unit. This is the one that I'm going to show you how to build. You can also do it as a top bar. We have clients that use the top bar so that as they're clicking through the different products and things, they'll see if they've added something to the cart, then it will show them how much more they have, and it's on a lot of pages. Some clients think that's a little too much, and so they go with having it just on the cart page and then on the checkout page as well. And I'll show you their checkout page because they have the same unit on their checkout page as well. So in our system, what it will do is you're going to set the threshold, and then it will automatically update based on the total amount that's in the shopping cart. So let's jump back into Ampry and let me show you how to build it. So at this point, you should already have some things created. You should have your site in there. If you're just barely getting started, you're going to want to watch our creating the different campaigns video, and it'll walk you through all these things. You can go through the onboarding videos. So what we're going to do is we're going to click into our site and we're going to add a placement. So like I said, we do have templates for the top bar, but we're going to just specifically show you the on-page unit here. Only thing we need to do is add the placement name and click on on-page. We're going to leave both of these off, and then we're going to click on next and go to the others. What I'm going to do is show you the unit that has already been built real quick. So we'll click on edit. So you see on-page, shipping bar, those are both off. Where do we want it to display? The default's going to be show on all pages. So because these are on-page ad units, we're just going to show them on selected pages. So you can add URLs here, contains, and then enter the part of the URL that it contains. So for Shopify, we're going to put it on the cart and the checkout pages. And so this is what this looks like for specifically Shopify. We're going to leave the frequency to every visit, because this is an on-page unit. We want to load with the page every time the page loads. Last step, we're going to add our event on here. So you'll see the one on here, sell, has been created. If you need to create an event, a purchase event, sell event, you can do that here as well. If you haven't, you can go ahead and add that, and then you're going to save the placement. Next step is we're going to choose the template. So the template we're using for this on-page is the dynamic on-page progress bar here. So you'll see this is already created, but I'll show you adding the template. So what you're going to choose the template. They're all listed alphabetically. Dynamic on-page is the one that we're going to use. So you'll see this is just the default template. Obviously, it looks a lot different than how they did that. You can see from the font size, the width and height of the bar, the color scheme of the button, they made all those adjustments. All that is done right here. So general, so say you don't want the background color to be gray, you want it to match your site, and your site's white, so you can just go ahead and clear the background color out or change it to the white color, whatever one you prefer. Padding, we won't go through all these in detail, but this is where you're going to make all these changes to the width. If you want any animation, which because it's an on-page unit, I don't think you're going to want to have any animation, but that's up to you. Headline, so we're going to choose the font size, mobile font size, the font family, colors, padding, center aligned, bold, all that stuff. You're going to choose that here. The button, obviously you'll see the different button options with the color, the font size, and all that, and that applies to the button. And then the last section here, the progress bar, this is where you're going to choose the colors for the progress bar. any padding, the height, the width, all that stuff, depending on how large you want it. Say, like we saw with the Chosen site, theirs was a skinnier bar. And so again, depending on just what you want that to look like. Once you've got the design side done, this is where you're just going to click to add on the content here. So I'll come back to these first two because these are the important things, but this is where the headline is. You'll see it's got the default text on here. The biggest thing with here, this is the macro that is used, so this is what you want to keep in here. This is what will show the dollar amount that they still need to get the free shipping. So leave that in there, so you can change up the text to whatever messaging you want. Just make sure you have that in there as the actual dollar amount. So when we're talking about that, that's this amount here, and then for this template, obviously this amount here, that is what is going to show up in this threshold macro. And so that's the messaging before the threshold, and then after they hit the threshold that you set, you're going to have the messaging. So you have free shipping, congratulations, you get free shipping, whatever message you want to put there. Destination URL applies to the button. So like we talked about, probably just send them back to your catalog of products, or the product. If there's a specific product you think sending them to would work best, you can put that as the button URL as well. And then you can change up the button text here. Last two things that we're coming back to. So this is where you're going to enter the amount that they need to have in their cart to get the free shipping. So the default, as you can see, is $80. We'll say for purposes here, $100. And then what we need to do is add the .class name in here. So to get that, you are going to go to your cart, and what we actually want to do is go to the checkout page. And on the checkout page, we're going to right click and inspect. And then what we want to do is, so I'm using Chrome, clicking here allows us to inspect elements of the page. So what we want to do is inspect, this is the total amount right here, right? So we want to click on that, and it highlights this span section. What we want is for this specific one TD class, it could be a div class, but what we don't want just the span, we want the actual overall one. So the TD class is the one we're looking for right here. One thing I would just suggest, if you're not as familiar with coding, is we're looking for the class. And so if you were to try, so say you clicked on this and you put in this payment due class and it didn't work, and you went to this one and it didn't work, just work your way up in these different sections. But what it's going to be is, you'll see these arrows here, it's going to be the top thing in the arrow that the section you're looking for is found in, if that makes sense. So we're going to take this amount right here, we're going to double click on it, highlight that there, and then we're going to come back to Ampry. I copied too much of it, so I'm going to have to remove some things, but we're going to remove that. So what we're looking for is just that actual amount. We're going to put a dot in front of it, and that's what it's going to look like. So let me take that off and show you. You'll see dot class name. So we always have to have the dot or the period there first in front of that class name, which was the total line price payment due. So this is what the system will pull from to get that total amount to get the free shipping on there. So that's how you fill this out, this section here. Once you've got that done, next, targeting. With this, because it's an on-page unit, there's really not much targeting you're going to want to add or exclude. You're going to want this to load anytime people are on those pages. So you're really not going to want to restrict things. If you do a mobile version and a desktop version, that might be the only condition that you could possibly add. But this template works for mobile and for desktop and all that. So really, you don't even need to create multiple templates. Once you're done, you're going to go ahead and create. I'm not going to save that on here because I already have this saved. So the last step, and this one is maybe for some could be the most tricky, but what we need to do now is we need to actually add that snippet code onto the page. Because it's an on-page unit, we need to actually put it on your web page in your Shopify site. And so let me show you how you're going to do that. So what we want to do first And really, we can actually stay on the checkout page. So you'll see they have the same unit on their checkout page. So what we want to do is what we're looking for is to find where the div is to put this specific unit in. So again, click on so that you can see the different sections. So what we want to do is we want to put it in this section right here at the very top. So it's pretty likely that you could click on this and you'll see as you highlight different things, we want to put it above this section right here. The order summary section, you'll see if we go up a little bit further, you'll see that's the first unit on here. You will see the snippet code. But this is the sidebar content. So we want it at the top of the sidebar above this other unit. So what we're going to look for is the sidebar content. So I'm going to right click and copy that. Then what you're going to do is go into your Shopify store. You're going to go into your online store, click on themes. Then you're going to go into the action section on your live theme and click on edit code. So this specific one that we're doing, this is the checkout page. So, and I'll show you what it looks like on the cart page too. But so on the checkout page, there's going to be a little search section up here. Once this loads, it's taking a little bit of time. We're going to go ahead and type in checkout. And you'll see the checkout pulls up checkout.liquid. We're going to click on that. And then what we're going to do is click into the section. We're going to hit Control F to find, and then we're going to paste that sidebar content that we copied from the site. And you'll see sidebar content, and then boom, you'll see because they're already using the unit, they pasted it right there. And so that's where that is going to make it show up right here on the checkout page. Let's go back to the cart page. And so we're going to do a similar thing on the cart page here. We are going to, because we want it to appear right below the cart. This is taking a little while to load, I'm sorry. But we're going to see the section here. Let's click on it one more time. Computer's running really slow here and it keeps defaulting back. I think my internet just went out, so that's why this isn't working. And it's not letting me choose this section here. There you go, it's finally caught back up. So this cart section here, you'll see section header heading. So what I'm going to do is just copy this. And in here, what we're going to do now is we're going to go away from the checkout page. We're going to find the cart page. The cart page that we're looking for is actually in the sections. It's cart template liquid. And again, you can right click on here and then right click to have the bar pop up, search bar. Here's the section right here, and then you'll see the Ampry code is right here, right below that section, which will make it show up right below the cart section. So that's how you're going to get those on your cart and your checkout pages once you have that in there. Again, the last thing that you obviously want to make sure you're doing is clicking on the save button once you've made any changes to the coding. Save it and then go look at the live page, make sure it looks right, because if it doesn't, then we want to remove the coding and paste it in the right section and then save it again and recheck it. So that's how you're going to go ahead and get all of that into the on-page snippet. This is the code that you're copying. This is how you're going to get it onto your site.